Monday, October 3rd, episode of Morning Coffee and Chat, or, well, Morning Brew and Chat. Let me go and get everything synced in here together so I can see who's here. Oh, pop this puppy. Boom, there's that. A little love for myself. Good little PSA in here. Good morning, Rusty. Good to see you, bud. There's that. And then we'll share it out on the Facebook. Boo. Yeah, morning, Jan. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good this morning. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. Man, I sure did. I slept like a baby outside. I wound up staying Saturday night with the vice president of the historical society at his camp. Um, yesterday was yesterday was nice. We had about 400 people show up. Um, of course, they had to park down at the park and take the horse-drawn wagons into the back entrance through the woods. Next year, I think we're going to try to get a bigger camp and actually set up in the woods so folks, can stop back there, see the camp, maybe do a little spooky Halloween stuff back there. But man, I'll tell you what, it was hopping. That picture that I had up as the thumbnail was taken by a professional photographer. He had one of those little fancy Polaroid type mini camera deals. Take a picture and print it right out the side of the camera. They're only about that big. Well, as a matter of fact, these are the pictures that it prints out. I think this is the one that I used um, for the thumbnail. And snap that one there of us. And then come in. I know there's a lot of reflection on them. They are gloss. But great event. Bunch of nice people. It shut down at 4:30 yesterday. We didn't even get a chance to start tearing down until 5:30. Everybody that was still there was wanting pictures. That is Mr. Wookie, I would say. They didn't show up this weekend. I guess KG didn't even make it to his house. Let me see what's going on here. Well, that's definitely not the right one. Oh, okay. Yep, I'll have to check all that out after the stream's over. But it was a very cool event. Got a little surprise for you guys tonight. Mark got a hold of me last night, not very long after I got home. I guess we are going out and doing a cemetery tonight. So Wednesday, you guys will have a cemetery investigation. I swear to God, I will put this thing in airplane mode. We're going to go back to the first cemetery we ever done. Back when we were amateurs and had no clue what the hell we were doing. We still got a lot of activity there, so we are going to go back tonight with all the new equipment and do it all over again. That's going to be a little something I didn't have planned. We knew about the one on the 10th, did not know about the one tonight until last night, so that's going to be real fun. Let's see here. Cold drinking coffee. It's chilly this morning. Right now it's 38 degrees here, so believe me, I understand cold. Of course, Monday's trash day, so I hightailed out the back door at about 25 after 6 and went to take the trash down to the curb, and my toofies, well, no, my gums were chattering by the time I got back up to the house. Oh, you're at 45? We started off at 42 this morning at 3 o'clock when I got up. Go figure, I slept till 6:30 yesterday outside when it was 48 degrees. I slept till 6:30, and today, back home, back in my bed, I was up at 3. So, go figure. We now know the secret to me getting a good night's sleep. I have to sleep outside. We laid down 11 o'clock on Saturday night, so I slept 7.5 hours. That's probably why I felt so good yesterday. Of course, after the stream, there'll be a video coming out. I grabbed a little bit of dark legends from south of the border. A little story about a weeping woman named Liona. So that's going to be pretty cool. I had fun making that video. Later in the week, we're supposed to be down in the 30s with a high of 60. Cool. Winter's coming. And you know, the Almanac and the National Weather Service are all agreeing this year, which is very unusual that they actually agree on something, but they are talking about nasty winter. Cold temperatures, extra snow, the whole shebang. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what it's going to be like out Rusty's way, but I know for the Ohio Valley, they're talking about nasty stuff. Well, for the Midwest in general. The southern part of Indiana across Ohio is supposed to get hit first with cold temperatures and snow, and then it's supposed to move north and smack the northern part of Indiana and Michigan. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'll be breaking out the wool and traipsing around in the snow this winter, I think. I hope you have a little bit of snow in the mountains. And the only reason I say that is because of all the times that I've been to the Appalachians, the most beautiful I've ever seen it is when there's snow up in the elevation. And that's the only reason I say I hope there's a little snow out that way up higher. So it's just going to be that much prettier for you. Good. I've not seen any pictures, so I have no clue what it's like down there right now. I couldn't get woke up this morning. I don't know if y'all ever have that problem on a Monday. I couldn't get woke up. I think I'm on like my seventh cup of coffee right now just to get myself where my eyes aren't like. So what'd you guys do this weekend? You know what I did. What'd you do? Of course, I was supposed to have company on Saturday. Um, I have not yet today, but I haven't coughed uncontrollably either, sir. Hey, Danny. Hope you're doing good, bud. Um, your allergies. Yeah, I'm real thankful I don't have problems with my allergies. But yeah, like I was saying, I was supposed to have um, company on Saturday. Fishing was supposed to be here. I haven't heard from him yet. Of course, KG and Wookie were supposed to be here. I guess she didn't get to make it, or she didn't make it to his place, so they didn't make it up here. I don't know the whole story. I'll find out after the stream when I read his messages. Um, Poopy caca happens, I guess. It's 51 in the city, so it's maybe 47 here. Oh, heck, we just dropped another degree. It's 37 here now. A burr. But it's dry. So sometime today, around noon or so, I'm going to get out and mow the yard. Maybe for the last time this year. And then when I get done mowing the yard, I got to go dig into the ground and see if my taters are ready. Um, I had the math on the time figured out, and they were supposed to come out of the ground the first week of October. So I'm gonna go out there and check and see how big them taties are. If they're looking good, I'm gonna go on, pull them up out of the ground, get them washed off, and surprise the wife with our tremendously huge amounts of taters to do all kinds of cool things with. Frenchy fries, fried taters, mashed taters. My luck, I got only like 2 or 3 taters out of 8 plants, 9 plants. So we'll see. We got the house ready for winter, covered the air conditioner, took down the canopy on the pergola, cleaned the chicken coop. Oh, taters and gravy, that sounds good. She does do really good with that because normally when she makes biscuits and gravy, I have her fry up some taters too, and I pour gravy all over the taters. That's exactly what I need, starch and carbs. Oh well. If you're gonna die, die with a smile. I just feel sorry for the guy at the morgue when he's got to clean the taters and gravy out of my mouth to sew it shut. Friday I go again for fingerprints. My CCW gets closer. Cool. Cool, cool. Man, that's a long drawn out process in New Jersey. That is a long drawn out process over there. Here, shoot. Here you go and take your test at the range one day and go file the paperwork the next, and you're done. I'm not. Then again, I'm not real big on the concealed carry. Um, I don't like what I'm packing to be a surprise to the people around me. I just let it sit. I let it sit on my belt. I let it sit on my belt for the world to see. Good morning, Tony. Hope you're doing good this morning, bud. As soon as I can, Rusty, I'm gonna send you a couple $100 and have you hit a couple of those stores for me for cap and ball pistols. Um, I still got that picture saved that you sent to me a month or so ago of that one you found in the gun shop. And I'll tell you what, for those prices, you can't beat them. You can't beat them. I mean, even if I had $1,000 to send you, I'd do it just so you could buy them at that price and I could resell them here for 3 times that price. The cheapest guns I found this year at Civil War reenactments for $300 a piece. Several counties have judges that still refuse to sign off on the permits. Man, go figure. Because, yeah, I found out with the U.S. Postal Service, as long as you pull the cylinder out, wrap it up separate, they can be shipped in the same box from all 50 states. You don't need to send them to other, you have to go through permits. Only in New Jersey. I've had guns sent to me from here in Michigan. I've had guns sent to me from the East Coast, and I've sent them to people, sent them out of state, had them shipped in state, and as long as they can't fire in the box, they're legal to ship. My weekend was expensive. I just ordered 700 in new exhaust for my truck. Jeez, criminy, bud. Wow. Between your poor truck and the poor Suburban, man. Hey, how was your trip down to the cabin and everything last week? Hope you enjoyed your little stay over down there and stuff. Oh, converters aren't cheap. They are not cheap. That's why the old man had his taken off his truck. He ran straight pipes on his 77, his 78, and his Z71 that he's got now. He had the muffler and the catalytic converter taken off and ran straight pipes. I think he just put like glass packs or something on his Z71. Yeah, I'd say they're tough. I done did the front end. Your front end for the Jeep is going to cost $500. Wow. Oh. Man, this coffee is extra strong this morning. I got home last night, checked my grounds. They were still nice and moist in there. So when I filled it up today, I put about a half a tank of water in it to top it off. Used the last of my coffee and just dumped it in there. Because, well, I drank camp coffee all day yesterday, and, well, for those of you, which is none of you, that have had my camp coffee, you might as well just pop the caps on your battery in your car and dump it in a cup. That stuff's got some kick to it. So by God, I fired up some battery acid this morning in this thing. Now I got to have the wife stop and buy me coffee on the way home. So I got coffee for the rest of the week. New hubs, ball joints. Doesn't have straight front axle. Had to put bearing in big red. I just about paid my IT for it. Wow. This is why I'm thankful I don't own a vehicle. I have a hard time paying for my cigars and my phone. Could y'all imagine if I had a vehicle to pay for? And I don't even have eye teeth to use to finance it, so. I mean, I guess I still got an arm and a leg, but you know, the legs aren't too awful bad, so I might only get half credit for them. They're great when they run. But when they have something go wrong. Yeah. Voorhees. Hello, my friend. How you doing, brother? Oh, I try to be live at least, 3 or 4 times a week. I'm normally live Monday morning, Monday evening, and Friday morning, Friday evening. But like tonight, we have an investigation at the cemetery. Our very first cemetery we ever done. We're going back and hitting it again because we didn't know what the hell we were doing 3 years ago when we started. So we're going to go back now that we have like all the new equipment. Mark has his SLS camera and everything. So we're going to go out and hit it again. There has been some reports of noises and stuff coming out of the cemetery. But it is that time of the year in Michigan where people start doing the whole report on the dog man and Sasquatch and stuff like that. Right across the street from the cemetery that we're going to are 800, 900-year-old mounds. Of course, I will stop by there and, I will do my prayer ceremony, take my sage, my cedar, my tobacco, and my sweetgrass out there, do my prayer that I always do when we're over there, and then I'll go across the street and up the trail to the cemetery. But let me see here. Part in consumption for truck, couple of years. Rear shocks, tune-up, oil change, replace the joints, those axle shafts. You guys gonna do the whole shebang. Oh yeah, I'd love to join you guys on that. It's my kind of thing. We have never come across a Wendigo, but there is a cemetery we've been wanting to do as soon as we have the funds. It's way up in Muskegon, Michigan, And it is supposedly, according to the stories that we've been able to pick up doing with Mark doing his research, there are mounds in the back of the cemetery, and the whole cemetery is supposed to be guarded by some kind of a spirit. People have never said whether it's a Wendigo or what it is, uh, but there are numerous reports of some kind of a cryptid type creature that people have heard and caught shadows of and stuff. So, but it's such a long drive. We're gonna have to get a hotel room. It's gonna have to be an overnight thing. Jay bought a new snow thrower, put it in the garage, put the salt container in the bed of the truck. So we need to get the snow blower. Hubs first, then shocks. Have it all done by end of October. Get her ready for winter. It's gonna be a nasty one. It's gonna be a nasty winter. I can't wait. You guys know how I feel about winter. I'll get out all my nice wool reenacting garb and traipse around. Hell, we get a good storm and get the lake frozen over and snowed over down here. I might even put the stuff on and take a walk down to the log cabin on the lake and do some filming down there. Thank God I caught your stream. Always miss out. Pop in anytime, brother. We're always here. Our son-in-law uses Rock Auto for parts for his race car. Nature puts the snow there. Nature can take it away. Yep, I love my winter months. Even when they get chilly. At least 21 of those magnets. So far, I have no problems with Rock Auto. I'm still supposed to do the 3 Lunchables challenge against Homie Frostbite. The 3 Lunchables challenge, what is that? I've never heard of that one. Oh, Rusty's firing in, guys. Rusty is firing in already with Today in History. And here we go. 1778, Captain James Cook anchors at Alaska. Good morning, Lisa. Hope you're doing well this morning, beautiful. (1789), Washington proclaims first National Thanksgiving Day on November 26th. (1849), American author Edgar Allan Poe is found delirious in a gutter in Baltimore, Maryland, under mysterious circumstances. It is the last time he is seen in public before his death. 1862, Battle of Corinth, Mississippi. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. For some reason, YouTube loves those things, those little thumbs uppers. So let's give them all the thumbs ups that we can give them. Say, hey, you didn't watch Frostbite when he did the Lunchables challenge. You have to consume 3 whole Lunchables, the crackers, the turkey, the ham, and the cookie. Huh. Psst. That's easy. I ate those things 4 or 5 at a time. Like all of them except the pizza ones. But yeah, I eat those things 4 or 5 at a time, little teeny tiny. Hell, if a 4-year-old can eat a whole Lunchable, a 53-year-old can eat 4 or 5 of them. 1862 skirmish at Bardstown, Kentucky. 1863, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln designates last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day. 1872, Bloomingdale's department store in New York opens. It's not easy to do it all 3 boxes in 5 minutes or less. Huh. 5 minutes or less. That might be a little hard to do. I like the taste of the lunch meat in the thing, so I try to savor it as long as I can. 1899, J.S. Thurman patents motor-driven vacuum cleaner. I'd love to go back in time and see the reaction on the very first housewife that used a motorized vacuum cleaner. Or even better yet, the first guy that ever used a motorized lawnmower instead of the old push and pull spinny blade thing, which we have 2 of them out here. One that was Grandpa's and one the wife built a couple years ago. But could you imagine getting that thing fired up, pushing it for the first time, and seeing grass fly out of it? 1906, William Vaughn's Moody's Great Divide premieres in New York City. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that, dear. I try to look nice once in a while. Probably scared him to death. Probably. 1913, U.S. federal income tax signed into law at 1% by President Woodrow Wilson. How's Grandma? Of course, you guys know everything happened Friday morning with Grandma, with me having to call the paramedics and them taking her to the hospital, wife leaving work, going over, spending the day with them. They didn't get home till almost 7 o'clock Friday night. Saturday morning, she woke up, got up on her own, went to the bathroom. No headache, no dizziness, no sick feeling, no nothing. That's the only reason I went this weekend to the Fall Festival, was she got up Saturday morning and there was nothing wrong with her. It was an average day, and she's been doing it ever since. So, I mean, it was a fluke. She had a 24-hour bug or something that messed her system up. But, there's a big discrepancy from what the paramedics found with their machinery to what they found in the ER. And I'm not real happy with it because the paramedics done 3 EKGs on her here at the house. And all 3 of them showed defib or an AFib in her heart. They told me, they said, right here, you can see the AFib, it's crystal clear. They get over there to the hospital, the ER doctor says there's nothing wrong with her heart, she's not showing any AFib, and only one of the 3 tests from the paramedics showed a very slight ghost rhythm. And I'm like, that's not what I saw. You seen a straight up AFib. I said, and AFib is one of those things that can only occur at night and when you first wake up, and then vanish the rest of the day until your body goes back into sleep mode. They need to keep her and monitor her overnight and see what happens in the morning. Oh, no, there, she's fine. They ran Mondo tests and could find nothing wrong with her. So they sent her home. Thank God, because obviously there's nothing wrong, because she's been fine ever since. So, um, Ghostorama, Eden Springs, June 3rd, 2023. Gotcha, bud. 1915, 7.8 earthquake shakes Pleasant Valley, Nevada. 1918, brothers Edgar and Archibald Selwyn opened Selwyn Theater at 229 West 42nd Street, Times Square, New York City, now known as American Airlines Theater. Yeah, I know, AFib's not constant. 1922, first facsimile photos sent over city telephone lines, Washington, D.C. 1922, Rebecca Felton of Georgia becomes first woman in Senate. Just a glitch in her electrical system. Apparently. Because the doctor, there was two different doctors that were in the ER. And one of them, Steph said, was, kind of a penis strip, a real asshat. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with her. This other younger doctor comes in, and he is trying to get this test and that test and this test and think of another test. And he says, man, it's just weird. It's just weird. There's at 84 years old, stroke, having these issues, all of a sudden, there has to be something somewhere. And I don't just want to treat what she's going through now. I want to find the issue that's causing what she's going through right now. And Steph said that, that's why they were there for 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever it was. And they could find nothing. August 19th, 2023, Ghostorama, Van Buren Poorhouse. Yeah. Getting them scheduled, my friend, getting them scheduled. And of course, don't forget, guys, that along with the Ghostoramas, not only do you have the whole day of activity, but in the evening time, after everything closes down, there will be an investigation of some kind associated with them. So, it's gonna be fun. Still believe it is a whorehouse. Whorehouse. Yeah, it kind of sounds like poorhouse. I can understand how you older folks get confused. Is that the one Brian said he's going to? I think Brian said he was going to the Poorhouse Museum. Lying, I really don't know what Rusty believes. I know when I was advertising about it and talking about it, you and Rusty both picked on me. About every time I said poorhouse, you'd say, whorehouse, whorehouse. Of course, like I said last week, October is going to be busy. Not only have we got investigations, I'm going to be with Danny and his Ghostbuster crew on, I believe it's the 22nd of the month at the Morris Performing Arts Center for their Halloween Ghostbuster, whatever they're doing. But it's going to be fun to put the jumpsuit back on and get out there on stage with the orchestra and stuff. Jay wanted to go to Benton Harbor, but believe we'll be going to the Poorhouse. Oh yeah, more Ghostoramas coming up. Gotta love our spooky spooky. Could It could be if we get the right female investigators. We need to get Lisa in a jumpsuit, Danny. We need to get Lisa involved with the Ghostbuster group too. Get her in a jumpsuit. Will Lorna be coming in? I hope so. Lorna is awesome. 29th, not 22nd, 29th. South Bend Ghostbusters Orchestra. That's going to be fun. I, 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 I told the wife what I wanted for my birthday next weekend. Um, I let her know that the new ghost traps um, have just been released, and they're just as high a quality, if not better in some ways, than the Celebration Halloween traps, and they're like half the price. And yeah, I don't think I'm getting birthday presents since my wife likes to loan money to family and stuff, and we never get paid back. I might not even get a cake this year, which really sucks because I showed you guys pictures of the cake she made me 2 years ago, and that was probably the most lopsided, ugliest cake that you ever seen in your life. But she spent hours trying to do a professional um, baking job on that cake. So it was the best cake I ever had. Um, why in the name of God she made that thing banana yellow with blue writing on it, I'll never know, but I think that was the only icing she had available. There you go, Danny. We got a cute female Ghostbuster. So we need to find like an extra small jumpsuit for her. I didn't get a gift or cake for my birthday. We always do that for each other. That's something that my family has always done. And when Steph and I got married and everything, I brought that little tradition from my family into this household. Um, Birthdays are always like super special, so there's always cake, there's always gifts, there's always a special dinner, there's always all that fun stuff. So, oh well, you know, I'm too old for birthdays anyway. I'm supposed to be forgetting birthdays, not celebrating them. I've talked to her a few times on the phone since Ghostorama. It's all right, Rusty. It's all right, bud. I understand. I never get anything for my birthdays, not even a cake, a card, presents, nothing. Told my kids I do not want gifts from them, spend any money. Grandkids, not me. And here I would have to do any cooking. I'm like kid size. Man, it's not kid size. We call that fun size. It's like the little tiny candy bars you get at Halloween time. They call them fun size. Little teeny tiny, but just as sweet. October 30th, Lucky Wolf Playhouse Halloween event, monster movies, costume contest, Universal Monsters, Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. Dude, I would love to do that one. Lucky Wolf Playhouse. Now, where is Lucky Wolf Playhouse at, Danny? Aw, there you go. There you go, Lisa. You'll get one birthday card. Now, you'll get two of them if you send me your address. I'll send you a birthday card. 1940, U.S. forms parachute troops. Oh, that's the Paw Paw Playhouse. Awesome. Awesome. I've not heard it called Lucky Wolf. I like that. 1941, The Maltese Falcon, directed by John Huston and based on Dashiell Hampett's 1929 novel of the same name, starring Humphrey Bogart and Mary Astor, premieres in New York City. 1942, FDR forms Office of Economic Stabilization. Oh, I see sun. I might get the yard mowed after all. I am actually a very simple woman. I don't ask for much, really. I like simple things, homemade cards, something from the heart. Them are the best presents. 1945, Elvis Presley's first public performance at age 10, singing Old Shep in Youth Talent Contest, Mississippi Alabama Fair, and Dairy Show in Tupelo, Mississippi. 1947, first telescope lens, 200, 508 centimeters in diameter, completed. Well, Iron Crystal are hosting that. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I've been told that I don't have a heart. However, my doctor begs to differ. Well, your doc knows your heart pretty well. He checks it out every time you go in there. Listens to it, makes sure it's there. So your doctor would know. My heart has at least bought him a new vet. With my old doctor, it wasn't cars, it was boats. He loved boats. He's got everything from bass boats to great big cabin cruisers. 1947, Manning Sherwin and Harold Purcell's musical Under the Counter opens at Schubert Theater, New York City, runs for 27 performances. 1947, WMAL, now WJLA TV Channel 7 in Washington, D.C., begins broadcasting. 1949, WERD, first black-owned radio station, opens in Atlanta. Speaking of boats, my godbrother wants to sell his pontoon. Aw, I liked that video of you and Jay on the pontoon. Even when Jay broke it, it was still cute 'cause everybody got to swim while they were fixing it. 1950, Ethel Waters becomes first black lead actress on a TV sitcom. 1952, first video recording on magnetic tape in Los Angeles, California. 1953, KGGM TV Channel 13 in Albuquerque, New Mexico begins broadcasting. I am glad they didn't take that left turn at Albuquerque. They stayed there. He's too into his vet. Never been a fan of, well, I take that back. Like the 71 Stingray. I did love those. 1954, Father Knows Best premieres. 1954, KFBS TV Channel 12 in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Cape Girardeau, Montana. Yeah, that's Montana. Montana. Begins broadcasting. I love the 63. The 63 split windows were really nice. Um, Upkeep on them is ungodly expensive. Friend of my dad's when I was in school. Is it Missouri MO? Well, that sucks. I gotta, you know, make a list of the abbreviations. That's right, Montana's MN. 1955, Captain Kangaroo premieres on CBS TV. Good Morning Captain. I remember watching Captain Kangaroo when I was little. Always loved Mr. Green Jeans. 1955, the Mickey Mouse Club premieres. My cabin is about 75 miles from the Cape. Oh, nice. Montana is MT. 1955. Well, you know, if I didn't mess up those abbreviations, you guys wouldn't have anything to laugh at anymore. 1955, WDBJ TV Channel 7 in Roanoke, Virginia begins broadcasting. 1955, WTVS TV 56 in Detroit, Michigan. Yep, Mr. Moose and Bunny Rabbit, Mr. Green Jeans. Used to love that show when I was little. And then, of course, you know, long after Bob Keenan passed away, they tried to bring back Captain Kangaroo with another captain, and it didn't last long. It just wasn't the same. 1960, Flair, CBS Answer to Monitor premieres on radio with Dick Van Dyke. Well, it could have been reruns when I watched. I grew up 30 miles north of Cape Girardeau. Okay. Wow. 1960, San Francisco's White House department store is the first to accept Bank AmeriCard. I never could spell things. Well, it is French, so it's not exactly spelled like it sounds. 1960 U.S. sitcom Andy Griffith's Show premieres on CBS. 1961 The Dick Van Dyke Show, created by Carl Reiner, starring Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore, premieres on CBS. 1961, KMED, now KTVL-TV, Channel 10 in Medford, Oregon, begins broadcasting. 1961, Noel Coward's musical Sail Away, starring Elaine Stritch, opens at Broadhurst Theater, New York City, runs for 167 performances. Dink Dink. We found our place because we didn't want to live in the actual Mississippi River Valley. Don't blame you. 1961 TV sitcom Mr. Ed premieres on CBS. What was it about CBS always having the good shows? That's how we went 60 or so miles west. 1962 Stop the World, I Want to Get Off opens at Schubert, New York City for 886 performances. If ever there was a horse, of course. Good old Mr. Ed. Wilbur. 1962, Wally Schirra in Sigma 7 launched into Earth's orbit. 1963, Meredith Willson's musical Here's Love, based on the film Miracle on 34th Street, opens at the Schubert Theater, New York City, and runs for 338 performances. Good morning, Vegas Paranormal. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well out there. Well, yeah, there were only three networks back then: ABC, CBS, and NBC. But still, CBS always got the best shows back then. Doing very well, Vegas. Doing very well. Thank you. I love Mr. Ed and Green Acres. Green Acres is the place to be. They had all the bright spots. Obviously. 1967, William J. Peet. Night sets highest speed ever recorded by a crude-powered aircraft flying the USAF NASA's X-15 at 7,297 kph, 4,534 miles an hour, Mach 6.72. 1920, Frank Sauce. Frank Sauce. You still remember the theme song from Green Acres? Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. One of these days, Vegas, one of these days, I plan on getting out your way. I was I was making plans, trying to figure out how I was going to get out y'all's way before the sad passing of our friend, and I still plan on getting out that way sometime. I thought the wife and I were going to make it out to Vegas in January. Of course, I'll be officiating her brother's wedding next year, and they wanted us to go out to Vegas with them in January, and never got the chance to do it. We didn't have the funds, but one day, one day, 1968, United States performs a nuclear test at the Nevada test site, and that place is still glowing today. Yeah, I know. A nuclear test in Nevada? No way. There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction. Music history 1970. Andre Previn and Alan J. Lerner's musical Coco, inspired by the life of Coco Chanel and starring Katharine Hepburn. I'm eating fried eggs, Frank's hot sausage. I just read the bottle. Thought I'd sound smart and throw some history out. Oh, now I got you. 1970 WAPT TV, Channel 16 in Jackson, Mississippi, begins broadcasting. Oh, and when Rusty is done with Today in History, I will explain to you guys about the thumbnail and what it says about raising the dead. Made some decisions this weekend out there at the camp. Just one little teeny tiny camp, 4 guys. Made some decisions about some things. I'll explain all of it when we're done with Today in History. I put that shit on everything. Exactly. Exactly. One of the food vendors that was out there this weekend owns a meat processing company and a meat market there in town. And they were selling um, yeah, homemade sausage. And they had a maple sausage out there. And it was to die for. It was good. My God, it was good. Maple bratwurst. 1972 space flight 71-2 launched first flexible substrate photovoltaic flown. Let me some Franks. Oh yeah. Oh, I love to camp. I love to camp. Um, I was gonna sleep out under the stars, and the vice president of the historical society, being an ex-reenactor, he brought out a super wedge. And only 2 of us actually spent the night Saturday night, so we just shared the wedge and or the A-frame. And his his stepdad and his stepson came out Sunday morning, and they know they're reenacting. They know they're reenacting. I was very pleasantly surprised. Sage. Speaking of putting that shit on every exactly. 1974, Ted Bundy victim Nancy Wilcox disappears in Salt Lake City, Utah. 1974, Watergate criminal trial begins for 5 advisors and aides of President Nixon. Old Tricky Dick. Always be leery of a person who says, I am not a crook. If they say it, they're probably lying to you. Should have been their spokesman. Will do, bud. Will do. I will find the time. I got to go out there and check my taters. They should be ready to come up out of the ground. And the wife wants the yard mowed. She left me with a honeydew list. Sadly enough, it ain't got nothing with honeydews. So, but it's got to do with my ass being really tired for our investigation tonight at the Sumnerville Cemetery. So, yay. And then, of course, next Monday night, it is going to be me, Lisa, Mark, and possibly Heather at the Riverside Cemetery in Dowagiac. If you guys go back through the videos, you'll see our investigations of Riverside and Dowagiac. We've been there 3 or 4 times. That place never fails. There is always activity at that place. If I'm camping, I prefer something to keep me warm. The Pulse, if possible, 90 proof or more if not. Well, there was a little 90 proof involved and a lot of wool blankets. But a very, very lumpy pillow tick mattress stuffed full of straw that I regret using. I probably would have slept better if I just slept on the ground. But it took me out, and I slept. 1984, U.S. government shuts down due to lack of agreement over passage of bills. 1985, 21st shuttle mission 51J Atlantis, 1 military flight launched. Next Monday night, I'll be in bed resting. Oh, yeah, you'll have your first eye surgery next week. Definitely so. 1988, 26th NASA Space Shuttle mission Discovery 7 returns to Earth after 4-day excursion. Good morning, KG. Hope you're doing well, dear. (1988) WBMW-FM Washington, D.C. changes call letters to WJFK and begins airing Howard Stern. Good, I'm glad. You know, it's funny. I'm kind of glad KG came in. When I got home from the fall festival last night, my daughter informed me that she had named the 2 adopted homeless back deck kittens. One of them name is Ken, and the other one's name is Tucker. And so when she goes out to feed them, she yells, "Hey, Ken Tucker." That was her joke. I thought it was cute. Ken and Tucker. What 13-year-old thinks of some hillbilly bullshit like that? Hey, Kentucker, come get your food. 1990 Florida record store owner Charles Freeman is found guilty of obscenity for selling 2 Live Crew rap records. Wow. And that was at the same time that NWA was out making records. They think 2 Live Crew was bad. Thank God he didn't sell any NWA records. He would have been serving life. 1993, Peter Schaefer's stage comedy, Twin Bill White Liars Black Comedy, closes at the Criterion Theater, New York City after 38 performances. Generally, cuss words ain't covered by the First Amendment, 1994. You're going to say Ken and Barbie. Nope, she named him Ken Tucker. Ken and Tucker. And she even calls them in that order. 1994, Gary Larson announces he is retiring from doing the Far Side cartoon. Yeah, she's a swift one. I still think me and her mom had a lurid one night affair 13, almost 14 years ago. The kid acts just like me. I feel so sorry for the man she marries. 1995, former NFL running back, broadcaster, and actor O.J. Simpson is found not guilty of the murder of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman in Los Angeles, California. My kids named our cat Pablo. Pablo. They're getting big. They're getting big. Little fuzzy fat butts eat all of our cats' food. But we can't have them laying out or sitting out there starving and dehydrating and stuff like that. So I have more of a soft side for the four-legged furry ones than I do for two-legged non-furry creatures. So my dogs are named Rio and D. Rio and D. Should have named the other one De Janeiro or something like that. Then you could have had Rio de Janeiro. 1998, Farm Aid 11 held in Tinley Park, Illinois. Performers include Waylon Nelson, Neil Young, John Mellencamp, Fish, Steve Earle, Wilco, and Dale McCoury Band. I try to keep the names simple so I can yell them as easily when I'm pissed off. Man, I'll tell you what, you would have flipped lid yesterday. What we did is when we set up the camp, just to give the little kids something, a souvenir to take home, we had these copies of original enlistment forms for the Union infantry, and we were filling them out with all their information, signing them at the bottom. I ran across a set of sisters. They're 16 years old, not twins. They were two. There's 2 years difference between them. Their names were Julia and Jaleesa. I looked at their mom. I said, "Do you ever get tongue-tied when you yell at both of them when you're trying to figure out, who did what?" And the mom looked at me and said, "You have no idea. If I would have thought it was going to be that hard when I named them, I wouldn't have done it. It would have been Mary and Claire or something like that." My dogs are Chloe, Teddy, Maverick, Goose, Opie, Brody, and Jennifer Giroux. Jan has a petting zoo. 2008, former NFL star O.J. Simpson found guilty of charges of kidnapping and armed robbery. 2008, the $700 billion bailout bill for the U.S. financial system is signed by President George W. Bush. He was found guilty of something. Yeah, really. He was named Demon, but that doesn't go well with me telling people they aren't vicious. Makes sense. Makes sense. 2014, blues guitarist and singer B.B. King's last live performance at the House of Blues in Chicago, Illinois. Now that was an amazing guitarist. B.B. King literally made that guitar talk. 2017, U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to Puerto Rico after it was devastated by Hurricane Maria. All right, Tony, go get yourself a bite to eat, bud. We'll still be here. And Grandma's already been up once this morning, so I know she's not going to be yelling, "Grandson, hello, hello." She's already been up, gallibatting around the house, had her pills, had her tea, had her first cigarette, and laid back down. 2018, 259 people have died taking selfies since 2011, according to a study in Journal of Family Medicine and Primary Care. Well, yeah, of course they have. They don't realize that they can't back up from a selfie stick. So they be standing trying to get a picture of the valley behind them on the edge of a cliff or something like that and back right off the damn thing. Dur. Yep, BB and Lucille. 2018, first exomoon, moon outside the solar system, discovered 8,000 years away, the size of Neptune, by astronomers at Columbia University. My sister had weight loss surgery, and then after that, she kept feeling bad, so she went back to the doctor. Come to find out, they left part of her stomach in her. Uff. Wow. Wow. Definitely not a good doctor. But leaving part of her stomach inside her is a lot better than leaving your Rolex inside her. So, especially if the bloody thing has an alarm that keeps going off at 6 a.m. or something like that, and she's trying to figure out what the hell the problem is. My God, that is all, folks. Nothing has happened relevant since 2018. Guess things are looking up. Thank you, Rusty, for a very, very cool today in history. Yeah, I know, right? And it was growing stuff around it. Ooh. Ooh. Good morning, Freedom. Hope you're doing well this morning, dear. All right. The reasoning for the thumbnail. The vice president of the Historical Society that I camped with this weekend, the big tall guy in the pictures I showed y'all earlier, he used to belong to a Civil War reenacting group out of Indiana. And when he moved to Michigan several years ago, completely lost touch with them because they're far down in the state. And we had several people that were historians and such that come out from Michigan State University and stuff like that, that had remarked to us that we should actually go out as professional reenactors. That our entire group looked great, especially with the stepdad and the stepson never doing reenacting and compiling their outfits and stuff together. Everybody thought we looked amazing. Well, we were representing the 12th Michigan Infantry yesterday, which, for anybody here that knows their history, the 12th Michigan only performed in the Western Theater. Not a lot's known about the Western Theater with reenacting because most of your major battles and stuff that took place in the Eastern Theater. Gettysburg, Antietam, places like that. My church needed someone to learn how to broadcast the Sunday service on Facebook. Yesterday was my first solo. Congrats, bud. Awesome. So we're going to be talking over the winter about actually starting a 12th Michigan unit and representing the Western Theater. Of course, the Western Theater was a little bit more laxed than the Eastern Theater was during the Civil War, as you all could tell by the fact that I was wearing a not exactly complete Union captain's uniform. There was a lot more Western influence in there. So hopefully by 2023, the beginning of the season, we will have a full unit that we can start going out and actually registering as the 12th Michigan Volunteer Infantry. Good morning, dog. Good to see you, bud. Biscuits and gravy. God, that sounds good. Went to the theater once, didn't like play, sucked, popcorn was cold, no butter. How dare they? How dare they? Our fall festival yesterday, one of our sponsors for the fall festival was Rural King. So needless to say, by the end of the festival, they didn't sell all the popcorn that Rural King brought up, and they brought a lot. And it was bags of popcorn. Like bags of popcorn. And I brought one home with a buttload of apples. So here coming up sometime this week, I am going to be baking me an apple pie. And I have got popcorn to last me for 3 or 4 weeks. Grandma is doing fine. She came home like about 7 o'clock or so Friday evening. Wife brought her home, and she got up Saturday morning, went to the bathroom by herself, got dressed by herself, was up meandering around the house, no headache, no dizziness, no sick feeling, no nothing. So it was a fluke, a glitch in her electrical system, something, Friday morning. But she was fine after she came home, and she still is. She's already been up this morning. I just heard her get up a second time. So it was a scare, but she's fine. Find apple products easy to learn. I got homemade peach pies in the freezer. Love me peach pie. Especially heated up with some ice cream on top of it. Oh no, she wasn't faking it, dog. And I was explaining this earlier, there was there's some kind of miscommunication or some BS. What's Lisa? Gotta go, friends and family. Love you. Be safe. Have a great day. See you soon, Drew. For hey, all right, Lisa. Sounds good, honey. You take care of yourself. Have a good day, and we'll talk soon. But no, the paramedics when they were here took three different EKGs on her, and all three of them showed an AFib problem. They get to the hospital. The doctor, the one doctor, kept trying to say that only one of the EKGs showed an AFib, and it was so slight it was barely detectable. And the EKGs I was looking at on their little monitor were all over the place. But the doctors kept saying nothing wrong with her, nothing wrong with her, nothing wrong with her. Then this younger doctor comes in and he's like, I'm not paying attention to what's going on now. I want to know what caused this crap earlier. So he was coming up with tests that he could possibly give her that could possibly tell them what was happening with her. And they found nothing. They have no clue why she was dizzy and couldn't stand up, why she felt sick when she laid down, why she couldn't walk. Nothing. They found nothing. So that made us feel better, but at the same time kind of had us worried because it makes no sense. I could stand getting laid, but I'm good otherwise. Yeah, thank you, dog. We're glad to. Templar, good to see you, bud. I'm bringing a dagger to a sword fight. Oh, that happens when we get older. Can't can't get the sword lifted up, so we have to get the smaller pointy stabby thing. She's really freaking old, dude. Yeah, 84 years old, but her grandmother lived over 100. So we keep trying to tell her, your grandma. You used to tell us stories that your grandmother sat around here and whined because she couldn't wait to die. I said, that's the same thing you do. And she lived to be over 100 years old. I said, you get the hint? If you sit around and whine about it all the time, it's not going to happen. And she just looks at you and shakes her head and says, oh, dear God, I don't want to do another 25 years. I said, well, you're going to, and we're going to make you. Going to Ionia. Oh, cool. What are you going up there for, dog? Bought an exhaust hood for Kathy's concession trailer. Very cool. I'd like to find a different exhaust hood for our oven out here. My son had actually. I told him I wanted an iron rack to hang all of our cast iron off of, and he found me one in one of the old barns that he remodeled and gave it to us. We have no place big enough in the kitchen to hang this thing. It's one of those half clamshell deals that's got two places for screws at the bottom and one at the top, and it's got hooks all the way around the opening at the bottom of the clamshell to hang cast iron on. And I want to hang it right above our stove but there's a cabinet up there. We have no problem removing the cabinet, but the exhaust hood for the stove goes up through the cabinet. So I would really like to find more of a decorative hood to go over the stove so I can pull that cabinet off and actually mount that rack up above it where it encases the the main ductwork for the new hood. Because if you take the cabinet out, all you have is a big rectangle of tin. Phone call. Good morning, ma'am. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well today, dear. Hey guys, I had a chance the other day, and I didn't get a chance to tell y'all. I had a chance the other day to see Mayhem's first live stream. This girl knows her business. It was pretty cool sitting there watching her for the first time and remembering back when I done my first live streams 2 years ago. It was real cool. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. It was awesome. I loved it. You did such a good job. There was no reason to be nervous. You done a great job. It's just as easy as sitting down and talking to your friends. The only difference is you can't see them. Well, gotta go. Going. All right, dog. You be careful going to Iona today, and take care of yourself, bud. And we'll catch you later. Oh, you're welcome, ma'am. You're welcome. It's what we do, support each other. I just scrolled to see what I missed. Hope freezer has a lock on it. Peach pie has a habit of disappearing. Very true. Very true. Nah, you don't talk too much. It's what you gotta do. If you just sit up here and stare at the camera waiting on people to respond to you, they don't know if you froze up. They don't know if you just don't have anything to talk about. You do live streams, you gotta be a talker. Or in my case, a BSer. So, I mean, you guys know how good I am at BS and stuff. Good morning, Terry. Good to see you, dear. Hope you're doing well. So, yeah, like I was saying earlier, guys, there will not be a stream tonight. Mark and I are going out tonight to the very first cemetery we ever investigated. Back before we had any of the equipment, when we were only using phone apps. There's still reports coming from the houses around that cemetery of seeing things and hearing things out there. Like I said earlier, when Voorhees was in here, this place is right across the street from old burial mounds that actually predate white colonization in this area. And there has been just, for being as small of a town as this is, you're only talking about like maybe 40 or 50 houses, and they have one restaurant. The one that I've told you guys about multiple times, the Old Tavern Inn, OTIs, 1835, still operating on its original foundation. People are talking about seeing shadows. They're talking about hearing weird noises, all kinds of stuff. So Mark and I are going to go back out now that we have all the equipment, tripods, all that fun stuff. We're going to see if it's even more active now than it was back in 2019 when we started doing what we do. Try to remember MM. If you respond to chat, read the comment you respond to. For those who are just listening. Oh, I do too, Mayhem. I do too. That's why I started doing it. Y'all ever buy a pack of lighters and have that one lighter in a pack of four that just don't want to light, but it's still full of fluid? Ever since I got that one out of the pack, I've had to strike it 3 or 4 times to get it to light. You want to get into metal detecting? We had our I got a metal detector for Christmas last year. A nice metal detector. Um, we've not even had a chance to break it out yet. I can't wait to break it out and hit some of the old homesteading sites here in the county. One of the books I got from the Historical Society a couple of years ago has got a map of pretty much all the original homesteads in the county. So I cannot wait to try to start getting out there and hitting some of those. Good morning, Ty. Good to see you, bud. Rough morning, even rougher day. Don't really want to bore anyone. You never bore us, bud. You never bore us. Hoping Santa brings me one for Christmas. Well, maybe if you're lucky, he will. Oh, besides the truck parts, I also have to buy a new monitor Friday. Don't feel like the Lone Ranger, bud. Somehow, some way, one way or another, we got to buy a TV. I'm getting real tired of moving the TV back and forth from the bedroom to the living room. Bedroom, living room. So believe me, I know exactly what you mean. Last week I was going to sacrifice the small TV that I use for my monitor in here because I have a small monitor. It's just really hard to read. And I took this TV out and put it in the bedroom the other day. Come to find out, this one here needs a universal remote to run. We don't have one. The wife ordered a Roku stick, and it was delivered the next day. When I came in and realized my monitor that I have don't work. So this had to come back in here as my monitor. So I'm stuck still moving a TV back and forth, picking it up and carrying it every night. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we're going to have to get us a TV, buy us another floor model. The one that we have in the bedroom now's lasted us 4 years, and God knows how many hours of playtime it had before we bought it. We bought it right off the shelf at Walmart. Already out of the box and being used. Back to work. All right, Templar, you have yourself a good day. Take care, and we'll catch you later. Don't work too hard. Can relate, getting through one day at a time. Oh yeah, definitely so. Don't go to bed to watch TV. We actually go to sleep. We both of us require that noise. Um, we have it turned way down. We don't watch it. Now she watches TV in the morning for like hour and a half before she gets ready for work. That's when she watches all of her ID channels and her murders and her unsolved murder stuff and things like that. So that's why we have a TV in there. a lot of times, since Grandma goes to bed so early, we don't go to bed till 10 or 11 o'clock. We'll sit in there and watch TV, then just turn the volume way down to where you can barely hear it and lay down and go to sleep with that little mutter in the background. That's the only reason we have it in the bedroom. I need a TV or watch YouTube to sleep. Have the best day. Back to renovating. All right, Freedom. You take care of yourself and don't work too awful hard. Renovating's not easy. Don't wear yourself down. Go 30 online. Yeah, yeah. Sadly enough, $100 like $1,000. So when you only got one income coming in. Good morning, Squatch. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. So like God made fans. We actually have a fan, but that we don't really sleep very well to just a fan. We have a fan going in there 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Sick kiddos, neighbors trying to spy on me for information to feed back to the chicken house. Outside cameras. Outside cameras. That's why they have invasion of privacy laws in place. It's aggravating trying to decorate for Halloween. Well, you know, if you made a big dummy of your neighbor and put them on a pike in your front yard, you know, like Vlad used to do, they might get the hint. Can't sleep without a fan. Oh, tell me about it. Oh, really, colder the better. Clam Bake, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Bought 3 down at the cabin, Dollar General. I forgot to bring one. Oops. Cool. Glad you're doing well, Clam Bake. Oh, goodness gracious. Like I said, guys, once again, for everyone who's just joined us in the last few minutes, there will not be a stream tonight. We will be back out at the Sumnerville Cemetery, the very first cemetery that we ever investigated. And we didn't even have any equipment back in. And that place was eerie. There are no lights anywhere close by the cemetery. It is way back off the road behind all the houses. You've got open field on 2 sides and houses on 2 sides. That place is dark and dreary. And we heard all kinds of weird schnizzing in the fields and stuff after dark. I can't wait to get back in there again now that we actually have equipment to investigate with. Getting down to the 40s at night, time to take AC out, put the fan in the window. We have the big air conditioning unit that sits outside, it does the whole house. Like I said, the fan is always in the window. I'm making 5 dummies using some of the reenactment clothes for the dummies. I'm going to use the gray coat for the Headless Horseman. Very cool. Good morning, Burnaby. Good to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well on this fine Monday morning. Have an epic day. I'll be showing you out on my next live. Cool. By the way, Drew, those long johns came in handy for my hillbilly butcher dummy. Long handles always come in cool for stuff. The wife and I both prefer the bedroom cold. I like the bedroom comfortable. I like to be able to sleep on top of the covers when I can. I don't like feeling like I'm held down. Well, just depends on who's holding me down. But, you know, I like to be able to sleep on top of the covers comfortably and not get cold. Personal preference. She didn't at first, but acclimated. My wife loves the bedroom cold. Probably because we can't keep the rest of the house cold because we'll have a grandma sickle sitting out the kitchen table if we did. Um, because, well, at her age, with her skin and blood as thin as it is, uh, well, needless to say, she's still wearing a sweater at 80 degrees. She finally will take a sweater off when it hits about 90. And that's even when we got the place opened up and the sun beaming in. She won't take that sweater off. She lives in that puppy. She was so cold the other day. It was 71 degrees. We had the heater on for her to knock it up to 74 degrees. She wouldn't even get dressed. She kept her fuzzy nightgown on because she was cold. Um, I like bedside water glass to be frozen in the morning. There you go. Moron who cheated in the fishing tournament made national news. I didn't even hear about it, Burnaby. I'm going to have to look into that. How do you cheat at a fishing tournament? Red long johns under a pair of blue overalls. Once the pig head mask gets here on Friday, it'll be almost perfect for slaughter theme. Yuppers. I don't recall ever having a heated bedroom growing up. Oh God, we did. When Mom and Dad turned on that heater, you did not even crack a window in that house. And they kept it, 68, between 68 and 70. But yeah, my when Mom was ready to turn on the heater, Dad went around and sealed all the windows because I mean the house is over 100 years old, so all the windows leaked. It was all old wooden frames and stuff like that. So he sealed everything. Yeah, you did not crack a window to get any kind of air. You wanted to cool off, you went outside. Wife has hot spells. Heat never goes universal. 63. Sounds good, Ty. It does sound really cool. I've got to get working sometime this week on our little gravestones to go out in the yard, but I got to get the yard mowed first. That's why I'm glad we're actually supposed to have some decent temps the next couple days. Of course, I scrape up a few bucks. I'm going to go out to the dollar store, pick up a couple skeletons. They have a couple life size. They got some little bits and pieces sitting in trays. And they got these little kid skeletons. They're only like 2 feet tall. And the little kid skeleton, I'm putting a wig on, putting like a little blue and white dress on, and hanging a swing out in the tree. I'm just going to have the little girl skeleton blowing in the breeze out there. When I get these little gravestones done, I'm going to put little hands and stuff coming up out of the ground and everything. So, big plans, big plans. He stuffed some fish with 8 pounds lead weight. Official was suspicious. Uh, yeah, I would have been too. You too, Clam Bake. Have a good day and happy Halloween to you too. Of course, we are have just basically started the 35 days of Halloween here on the channel. Still going to have the videos rolling out 3 times a week. We're going to keep the 35 days of Halloween going right up to Halloween Day. Never too cold to sleep. Doing Camp Colonial Era. -5. -5 is when I put up the big tent. Well, I used to. I can't do it now because I don't have it anymore. I need to get a new tent before next year. But I used to have the super wedge that was 9 feet tall, 12 feet long, and 10 feet wide. And it was big enough to put a fire tub right in the middle of the tent. And you set up a cot on both sides. You stayed toasty in there. I remember the last event that I had that at. I was sitting out in a second weekend of October, snowing. I was sitting out at my table drinking coffee, and my camp buddy and 2 other people were sitting in the tent with fire going. It was chilly. It got down to about 27 degrees that night, and the day only got up to like 38. I was enjoying it. We have to decorate for fall and Halloween. I gotta get started. I've been putting it off. Now here it is, the 3rd. I gotta get started. I was under a fly. Wow. My kids have been on me about getting ready. I know I keep telling Ash we're going to do it, and we haven't. So as soon as I get the yard mowed today and get my taters checked out or pulled up in the garden, I'm going to start getting stuff going so I can get the yard decorated this week. I have woke with a couple inches of snow on me. That really wasn't all that bad. Not as bad as it sounds. I have no problem. You know, way back years ago when I had my little 16-foot Cheyenne squatter teepee, I have sat up at the Buffalo Preserve in northern Indiana with 25-mile-an-hour winds coming out of the northwest. Woke up the next morning with a fire going in there and have 4 inches of fresh snow sitting outside. Go to the porta potty, put on your capote, come right back out, go back in the teepee where it's 70 degrees at, 75 degrees, and wait for company to come by because they know you got a fire and everything's nice and warm. Every night we have to watch one old school horror movie, count down the days till trick-or-treating. Halloween's coming fast. I was in my 30s now. It might be harder. The cold don't bother me when I'm camping until nighttime. I hate waking up shivering. As long as I can stay warm at night, even today, being out, I'm still a few years younger than you are, Tony, but even today, the cold don't bother me. As long as I can stay warm at night, I'm good. I'll traipse around in the snow all day long at an event. I don't care. Best cup of coffee I ever had was that -5 degree morning. Coffee's a very important friend on those cold mornings. Yep, we've started watching the horror movies too. Well, the Halloween theme movies. It's not just been horror. We definitely watched Hocus Pocus 2 the other night when it came out on Disney. That was really cool. It was nice to see. Doggone it! And all of a sudden my nose started itching. Um, see the girls together again. It was funny, just like the first one was. Um, of course, I'm not going to get to watch anything tonight. I didn't get to watch anything all weekend, so tomorrow night I think we might kick in with the Nightmare on Elm Street, and God only knows where we'll go from there. Back when I had true Hudson Bay, man, I'd love to have another Hudson Bay. I would love to have another Hudson Bay. Babies are worth their weight in gold. Amen. Of course, I will come home tonight from the investigation. Tomorrow morning, probably between 3 and 4, I will get up and start editing the investigation video. I've also got a bunch of pictures from the fall festival that I attended this weekend, and that will be out Wednesday midday. Of course, this week is Lodge for Danny. There will not be an interview on Wednesday evening on Unrestricted Paranormal. He will be at his Masonic meeting for the month. But we will be back on again on Friday morning um, with more morning brew and chat. Let me see here. We already watched Halloween Trilogy last night. We watched Hocus Pocus 2. Tonight's start Nightmare on Elm Street. Then Friday the 13th. Do not forget about Dreamcatcher. Do not forget about the Leprechaun movies. Do not forget about the Alien movies. You got like 28 days till Halloween. Put the fright of God into those girls before Halloween gets here. Go on cold camp. It'd be cold sleeping bag. Good sleeping bag. My wife makes me watch Halloween movies. It's getting bad when you know the lines to the movies before the scene starts. Amen to that. That's the way I am about my classic horror. I've watched them so many times. You can you can quote them as the stars are quoting them. Which Milsurp Sleep System, Dreamcatcher, and It. We already watched Leprechaun movies for October. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't forget It either. Especially the original. I mean, the two new ones are good. But Tim Curry as the clown, as Pennywise, oh yeah, you can't. You can't. But all right, guys, it is that time. It is time for me to be like a fat baby and head out. It's time for me to be like a tree and leave. It is time for me to be like a bunch of bats and get the flock out of here. What do you call a bunch of bats? Is it a flock? I don't know. But anyway, you guys all have yourselves a great Monday. For those of you that I talked to off of here, I'll let you all know tomorrow how that investigation went. But until Friday morning, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. I do. We'll talk to you all later.